Ahoy, welcome back to another video. It's the end of June, so that means it's time for the monthly recap of all the games I played this last month. At the midpoint of the year, lots of great games. I've been doing this at the end of each month, talking about my favorite games that came out that month to prepare me for the end of the year, Game of the Year stuff. And this month, only really one game that came out this month that I played. So it's a pretty easy month for me to pick my favorite game of the month. And it wasn't even a full game. It was a expansion to a game I already loved. I knew I'd like. So only game I played for June was Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erdtree. Not going to spoil anything. I just kind of want to talk about my top level thoughts. I did finish the expansion last night. Honestly, so in my game of the year 2022 was Elden Ring. I loved that game. I played all the FromSoft games, and this is my favorite one so far. Such a big, fun world to explore. Beautiful art and environments and character boss designs. Such a great. It's their best work in my opinion. And then Shadow of the Erdtree is just that same thing, just kind of condensed down a little smaller. But you still have the same amount of discovery and just cool things that are around every corner. It's just you're finding them, in my opinion, in this DLC, you're finding them quicker. Instead of having to run across some, big, huge field to get to something on the other end, it's a slightly smaller field. It's a little more compact, and you're finding stuff. Everything's so interwoven, and I couldn't put the game down. I've probably played, in the last week, I probably played 30 hours of it, which is a lot for 1 week. I was really into it last weekend. But yeah, I was really happy to finish it. Some cool lore implications that I won't get into that I'm excited to see some much smarter people break down for me on YouTube so I can fully understand what the story they're trying to tell me there. Bosses were so cool. So many cool not only like fights visually and mechanically, but also the bosses you're seeing and like what they mean for the overall story. Super cool. Little tough. There's been a conversation about, is the DLC too hard? And my opinion on that is no. I feel like it's just as hard as the base game. I don't think it's out of line with anything else FromSoft done. The reason it feels hard is a lot of people probably went into this with a end game build. They were expecting to be able to kind of roll through it as they were at the end of the base game. But the DLC kind of level sets you where you have to go back and re-explore the DLC itself to get DLC-specific items for DLC-specific upgrades. And then once you do that, you kind of start picking up steam and you'll start rolling through it, no problem. So at the beginning of the DLC, sure, it was a little tough and a little bit of a shell shock with my, level 200 character struggling with some regular enemies. But once you get some upgrades in your belt, it's really not that big of a deal. It's just like anything else they've put out. I was really blown away by this DLC. Just seeing the cool secrets that you can find. And they're so good at making you feel like you're the first person to find this. It feels so well hidden, but really they're kind of carrot on a sticking you there. They're pushing you to go find something cool, and it makes you feel like you discovered it and that you made this cool, found this cool new place that that they made for you, and so many optional areas that are that you don't have to go to beat the DLC, but have cool bosses, cool environments, cool enemies, cool items, a bunch of new weapons in this DLC. I used for a majority of the DLC, I used a brand new weapon that wasn't in the base game, and I didn't feel the need to go back to my favorite weapon from the base game much at all, because there's just so many cool options to use. So yeah, I think this is right up there with Elden Ring as far as their best work. The DLC compared to the base game, this is right in line with what I experienced in Elden Ring. I think Elden Ring now is undeniably one of my favorite games ever. It was already in my top 10 because of how much I loved it. Now it's pushing up towards the top 5 because Just a huge game, and it's so well crafted and it's so thoughtful with everything it does. The story is there if you really want to read into it. If you want to like learn about these characters in the world, there's so much deep lore and details that I just love learning about. And the way the environmental storytelling, where you can see when you watch a video on YouTube where someone breaks down some lore for you, and you go and like you look at that stuff for yourself, and you can see what there's hints there the whole time telling you these things. If you just got under the hood and found it for yourself. Just such a cool game. I'm glad I played it. I think this DLC on its own fully should count as this is a game. This is a bigger experience than a lot of games are. This could have been an expand-alone if they wanted to. If they wanted to just put this out, because it is $40. If they wanted to just put this out as a separate boxed copy for $40 and just kind of like give you a new character and said have fun, I don't think anyone really blinked an eye. I think this is a full experience with it is more than enough to stand on its own, even without the base game. But getting to the DLC, you have to get to like towards the end of the base game in a kind of optional semi-secret area, which is just very FromSoft of them. But yeah, loved every minute. Fantastic game. If you played Elden Ring, this might be some of the best areas in Elden Ring are in this DLC, so you should experience it if you enjoy the game. So yeah, June game of the month is Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree. It's the only game I played that came out this month, but I did play a couple other. I did play a little bit of this game, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time 3D. Podcast over on Craig's channel, Craig's Game Room. We do our bi-weekly Generations Behind podcast. This last episode was on Ocarina of Time. Just talking about our experience with the game, what we like, what we don't like, our history with it. I played Ocarina of Time originally on the GameCube version, the Master's Quest copy for the GameCube. And I thought it'd be fun for this episode to kind of experience the game again through the 3DS version, because I've never played that version. And I've been trying to like get more 3DS games to re-experience, because I had a 2DS, so the 3D effect of the 3DS I didn't really get to use a whole lot. So it was cool playing Ocarina of Time and seeing the stereoscopic 3D and just seeing that different layer to the world that I haven't got to experience before. Ocarina of Time is a great game. I didn't play all the way through it again. I got Master Sword and got like past the first temple after that. But such a fun, cozy, welcoming world, at least in the first half of it. But the music's just so nostalgic, so much great Zelda, so much like if you like boil down Zelda, I feel like 2D games owe a lot to Link to the Past. That game is such a strong foundation for the 2D games, and then if you look back at the 3D games, obviously Ocarina of Time set the foundation for that. So if you had to play two Zelda games to kind of understand the series, I would say if you play Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time, you really get that experience that like a lot of the other games just build on. So it's fun to go back and re-experience Ocarina of Time after then playing so many of the other games, and then go back and re-experiencing the one that inspired them. Love the game. Go listen to the podcast if you want the full thoughts, but I'll probably chip away at the rest of the 3DS version over the next few months. Such a good time. Another game this month, been playing. Still playing Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I'm still enjoying Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I don't have a whole lot of thoughts to add from last month's episode, mainly because I was a little busy in the beginning of the month, so I didn't get to put as much time in this as I wanted to. And then at the end of the month was just all Elden Ring. So I've only played a couple more hours of Paper Mario this month. But I fully intend to dive deep back into that now that I'm done with Elden Ring. Because Paper Mario's been great. It's a beautiful game, great music. I love the turn-based combat. I'm kind of in the mood for a nice turn-based RPG now. So I'm really excited to jump back into that and give the time it deserves. And then the last game I played this month was on Nintendo Switch Online, NSO. After the Nintendo Direct a couple weeks ago now, they added Metroid Zero Mission to the Game Boy Advance app for the expansion pack for Nintendo Switch Online. I played Zero Mission a few years ago. I actually have an old review of it on the channel. I played it on the Wii U Virtual Console. Zero Mission is a great game. It's a remake of the first Metroid game, a game that really needed a remake. As important as that game is for the video games as a whole, and it kind of helped build a genre. That first game was a little rough. Zero Mission is the way to play Metroid 1. Fantastic game, controls great, looks great, sounds great. It's all really impressive. Imagining playing on a little Game Boy Advance. I'm playing on the Switch, of course, so I was playing on the screen. But it's a really fast-paced game. I feel like you're exploring and finding things at a really quick clip, getting new upgrades, whether it just be missile upgrades or E-tanks, or just full-on upgrades to Samus's suit, changing the way you interact with the world. I feel like you're always making progress. It's not overly difficult. I know some Metroid games can be pretty tough. This game, I mean, it's definitely got a challenge to it. It's not an easy game, but I wouldn't say. I say this is on the easier side of the 2D Metroids, in my opinion. Especially if you have save states, like playing on NSO, a rewind. That's really helpful. If you miss a jump and you fall all the way back down, it's like, I'm just going to rewind that. I'm not going to climb back up that. So I definitely utilize that. If you've played this game, it's basically there's two real big bosses you have to go take down to go to the end of the game. Won't explain all that, but there's two things you got to go take care of, and I took care of the first one on stream. And then I got a little lost, and I seem to remember last time I played the game, the same thing happened. I got to this midpoint of the game, and I kind of didn't know where I was supposed to go next. I got a little turned around, so I felt like a good time to stop the stream, recoup, and the next time I go, hopefully I can finish up the game, get the second half of the game. Short and sweet. I think if you play this for the first time, you can probably beat it in 4 to 5 hours. It's not a long game. But I know if you're experienced with the game, if you've played it a lot, I think the 100 people 100% this game in an hour. It's real quick if you know where to go and find everything. But yeah, great game. Excited to play it again, and I'm excited to get back on stream and finish it up. Hopefully here in a couple weeks. But yeah, those are the games I played for June. As far as games for July, I'm looking forward to. There's one game in particular I'm really looking forward to, and that is NES World Championships Nintendo Switch Edition. I think some previews came out at that. I was really interested to see how people were liking that, and I was watching some previews, and I think that game's going to have weekly challenges, which really speaks to me as someone who got really into the weekly gold cups for WarioWare Get It Together a couple years ago. So yeah, I'm really excited for NES World Championships. I will be jumping into that, going for high scores, probably going to stream it, probably going to record all the challenges and post them here on the channel. So yeah, that's the big thing I've got my sights on for next month. But yeah, that's about it. So if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Great month of June, midpoint of the year. Fantastic 2024 so far, and going to be a busy second half of the year. A lot of good games coming out in the second half of the year. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.